What's up, friend? Welcome back to my channel. How's it going? What's up? I decided to do this week's video for the content creating girlies. I'm going to show you everything that I use to set up my YouTube videos because I feel like I started at the bottom and I've slowly been working my way up and getting my videos to be better quality. And I want to pass along the knowledge to you. Also, if you don't already know, my husband Will is a professional photographer, and so he has a lot of equipment and a lot of knowledge that I have taken advantage of over the past little over a year that I've been on YouTube. So I'm just trying to pass along the knowledge to you so that you can maybe get some of these things for your channel or modify how you're shooting things. I don't know. I'm just trying to help, okay? So the first thing that I want to talk about is planning out the video, and I'm not gonna lie, I used to do all of my planning in my notes app on my phone, but I'm trying to get my shit together, be a little bit more organized, and just be on top of it for 2024. So I got an account on Notion and I'm starting to use that to plan out my videos as well as just keep my to-do list in there and things like that. So let me show you. So Notion has a bunch of templates. You can do to-do lists, you can do random thoughts and musings, journal entries, whatever you want to do. They even have some sort of like AI feature, which I haven't really experimented too much with, but that is on there as well, which can be very helpful for coming up with content ideas and things like that. But what I'm doing for my videos is just putting the live date and then the title of the video. It doesn't have to be exact, it's just like a general idea of what I'm talking about, and then I bullet listed out the points that I want to talk about in my video. And depending on what the video is, sometimes I'll go in depth and write down every single thing I want to say, and sometimes I'll just do really vague bullet points and I'm like, okay, you know what? I feel confident talking about this thing. I don't have to like reference a quote or anything like that. I'm just speaking from the heart. So it's very, very easy and just short. But I usually will just put my intro, whatever topics I want to cover in my video, and then an outro. And it's just a good way to keep everything in one place and keep track of what topics you've already covered. Any rogue ideas that come to you at random times, you can just put them on your Notion and they're there. So I don't know, I like it so far. I recommend it. So that's my step one, okay? I outline the video, I plan out what I want to say. I find it very, very helpful to at least have a loose idea of what you want to talk about in your video so that you're not sitting in front of your camera just like, you know what I mean? So now that I have everything written down, I'm gonna go ahead and set up my video. I literally had to put on a robe because my house is so cold. Don't mind that. But if you've seen my videos before, you know that I shoot them all on my bed. So step number one is usually making my bed because I never make it, to be honest. So let's make the bed. Let's talk about the most important part, which is the camera. If you are a content creator, you have probably already heard of the Canon G7X. This is the Mark II, and I've had this for a few years. This is what I started vlogging on, and she served me very well over the past few years. I think that this is a great beginner camera. It's small, it's compact, it has a little flip-up screen, and it's super easy to like vlog in public and kind of keep it low-key, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm a big fan. This is an 8 to 36 millimeter lens, so it's gonna let you zoom in really far and zoom out really far. You could also control the exposure on the top, which is really, really helpful. Honestly, I don't even know if that's the right wording. Listen, I'm not a camera expert, okay? I am married to a camera expert and he's trying to help me, but I'm not gonna be technical. I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty. I'm just gonna tell you the things that we wanna know, okay? Anyway, moving on, it also has a flash. So that's nice. I would say one of the major downsides to this, and the reason why I actually don't really use it to film my sit-down videos anymore, is that you cannot mount anything to this. I can't attach a shotgun mic to the top. I can't attach a monitor if I wanted to. Like there's no means to mount something on top of this. So that can be annoying if you care about audio quality and that kind of stuff. The audio isn't bad, it's just as you level up, you know, you might want to use a mic and then you can't attach it here. And so that's kind of frustrating. I will also say I have had this for a few years, so maybe it's on me, but the battery life in comparison to my other camera, which I'm going to get to, is not great. I'll say like I can film a 40-minute clip on my other camera and still have plenty of battery, and I film a 15-minute clip on here and the battery is completely drained. I don't know if that's normal. I have a couple different batteries that I swap out, but I definitely think the battery life is not great. It wasn't even great when I first got it, if we're being real. So I still do use this. I was vlogging on this in the beginning of this video. I use it when I'm in public. I use it when I'm trying to walk around the house and vlog. It's fine, it's great. Hi, quick intermission from editing Bria. There's something that I forgot to mention about the G7X that actually drives me crazy. I cannot believe I forgot about this, but the autofocus makes a very loud clicking noise in the footage. I don't even know if you're gonna be able to hear it in the footage that I'm filming right now, but it's just this little clicking noise that you get with the autofocus on here. And if you put background music or something like that, it's really not noticeable at all. It's only when you're just talking straight up to camera that you hear it. And for some reason, like, it infuriates me. It infuriates me a little bit. So I did want to mention that that is another downside to the G7X. I do not get that on my other camera at all, but other than that, everything's great. Okay, back to the video. Okay, we switched angles for lighting purposes, but the camera that I've been using for all of my sit down videos lately is the Sony a6600. She's still pretty small, but definitely not as small as the G7X, which makes it a little bit of a struggle to vlog in public or to just walk around holding it, even on my little Gorilla Pod. Usually when I'm vlogging, my camera's on this, and this is just kind of heavy, to be honest. So even when it's on there, I don't really love holding it. It's more suitable for me to have it on the tripod when I'm filming. And on this one, I'm using a 10 to 18 millimeter lens. The good thing about the Sony is that you can swap out the lenses depending on what your vibe is. This one is a little bit wider. I was shooting with a 24 millimeter lens before I got this one, and it was just a little bit more zoomed in. And since I do want to use this more for vlogging, even though it's a little heavy, I thought that it was a good idea to just get a wider lens so that I could hold it this far and not be so zoomed in on my face. So far, very, very happy with this lens and this camera in general. I will say, if you are not familiar with cameras, it is a struggle to use this. I had to take a lot of lessons at Will G. McNeil Photography to figure out how to fix the autofocus, make my videos brighter, make them more dim. There's so much stuff that you can use on this camera to kind of change the look and feel of your videos. And for someone who is not an expert on cameras, that can be very overwhelming. Sometimes I'm just like, girl, let me just put on my G7X and just go, because the G7X is very much self-sufficient. This one, you gotta play with it a little bit, you gotta get the settings right, but once you do, the quality is so good. Like the G7X, it also has a flip-up screen, so if I ever am vlogging, I can always see myself. I will say you get a little obstructed with your screen, just based on that little, I know there's a word for that, eye hole viewfinder. Oh my god, the camera people are gonna kill me. Just like the G7X, this also shoots in 4K, and I will say that the pictures that this takes are bigger than the G7X. So even though there's not a flash, if you take a picture on here and you want to print it or something like that, it's going to be much better quality than the G7X. I will say too, the Sony also has better autofocus than the G7X. Let me tell you, I have had issues with it in the past because I'm a layman. But once I figured out the autofocus settings on this, I haven't had any issues with it. It catches my face really easily, and I'm overall very happy with it. So I'm probably going to start transitioning out my G7X and using the Sony a little bit more often. The Sony does not have a flash attached, but there's a mount on the top, so you can attach a flash, a shotgun mic, anything like that. So that kind of takes care of that problem. You can also attach a monitor. You can run audio into it, whatever you want. Overall, I definitely recommend the Sony if you are serious about YouTube and you're really into it. You've been doing it for a while. You're ready to level up the quality of your content. I definitely recommend it. If you're just starting out and you're just trying to see if you like this situation and if you want to keep making videos, start out with the G7X. It's a lot cheaper. It is a lot less finicky than this, and you're not gonna be frustrated trying to change the settings and change the lens and figure all that shit out. Just get the G7X if you're starting. But I definitely recommend, if you wanna level up, get the a6600. I have never used a Sony before in my life. I don't even think Will is a Sony person, but we are both really impressed with this camera. And honestly, I feel like it's completely changed the vibes of my videos, and everything just looks and sounds a lot better. Sorry, I feel like I keep making a lot of noise with this. Sorry if that's annoying. So there's a breakdown of the two cameras that I use on my YouTube channel. Since I'm about to film a sit down video, I'm gonna go ahead and set up the Sony on a tripod, and I will show you what tripod I use and how I set up my audio as well. It's a little bit of a jerry-rig situation, but we're in this together. Let's talk about it. So this is my audio setup. I use a Rode shotgun mic, and I have jerry-rigged it to a C-stand. So I have this little attachment that just attaches the mic to the C-stand, and I can lift this arm up or bring it down so that it's where I need it to be, close enough to my head, but out of frame of the camera. So all in all, it looks like this. And honestly, I feel like it's a pretty good makeshift boom. So I have no plans on changing it anytime soon. To actually run the audio to my camera, I just use this little aux cord. Honestly, they're not called aux cords, but it's like an aux cord. One end of the aux cord goes into your mic and the other end goes right into the camera. And because it's directly connected like that, I don't need to line up the audio or do anything special. When I load it into my computer, the audio is just automatically connected and it's a beautiful thing. And that's pretty much it. I just have my camera on the tripod, my mic on the C-stand, and my notes right on my dresser. I realized that my computer is dirty. Let's stop looking. As far as tripods go, I'm not super picky about tripods. I just use whatever Willa has. This one that I'm using today is the newer N284L plus G0. I don't even know if that's the proper name, but that is what we call it in this house. It does everything that a normal tripod does. You can shoot high, you can shoot low, you can adjust where this goes. This has a little ball socket that your camera sits on, so you can really shoot any angle that you like. That's kind of cool because some tripods just go up and down, backwards and forwards, that kind of thing. But the thing that really sets this apart is that it has this overhead feature. So if you push this middle section all the way up, you can actually push it up to the point where it's a 90-degree angle that bends forward. So that's really useful if you're someone who makes cooking videos and you want to film your hands on the countertop. I use it a lot for unboxings that are overhead. I find that very, very special and very helpful, and this tripod isn't even that expensive, so I feel like a win is a win. So I'm gonna film my video and then we can talk about the post-production process and what happens before it actually makes it up on YouTube. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, friend, we have filmed everything and we are relaxing on the couch. I just put all the equipment away. But now all there's left to do is edit and post the video. I put all of my video footage on an external hard drive. Highly recommend, do not edit off of the memory card. Do not. It's a mistake waiting to happen. Get yourself one of these. This is a Lacy drive, and honestly, Will said that he doesn't recommend these because they're not super stable, safe, I don't know. But when I worked in production, we would only use these, so I just kind of went with what I knew, but I might change it out. I also will say, do not only have this one external hard drive. I have a, I need to set you down, girl. My arms are tired. Help. I would recommend not only having a singular external hard drive. If something goes wrong with this, you are fucked and you lose everything. So definitely create some redundancies. Will says that you should have a backup to this and a backup to your backup. Right now, I only have a backup to this. I will get a backup to my backup. But basically, whenever this gets full or every few weeks, I'll just dump my finished work that's on here onto my larger external hard drive. I'll show you. Okay, this is my redundancy. This is a MyBook, a WD MyBook. How many terabytes is this? I wanna say this is like 8 terabytes. It's a really, really big hard drive. You need to plug it into the wall when you use it. So definitely get one that's just like an easy one that you can fit into your computer, and then get an extra one that you can back up everything onto. It will make you feel a lot more safe. So that's my storage situation. I could honestly do a whole video on storing your work, external hard drives, keeping everything organized, not losing your stuff, because I've definitely had work that I've done for a paying client get lost because I didn't properly organize it on this hard drive. And honestly, it's embarrassing, and it just takes me back to that feeling when I realized that I fucked it up, and just your heart just sinks. Yeah, so I can tell that story and tell you how I organize my external hard drives if you want in a whole separate video. That's a whole thing. I'm still learning. I do edit everything on my MacBook Pro. This is a 2021 Apple M1 Pro 14-inch with 16 gigs of memory. Yeah, and it has a terabyte of flash storage. So I do work off of the external hard drive, but it's also important to have a computer that can just deal with all of the footage that you're putting on it, because let me remind you, I shoot everything in 4K and they are very big files. So I had to get this computer. I had to. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, was I using my work computer when I had a job? Yes, I was. But when there were inklings of me quitting, I was like, okay, this is not gonna last forever. I need to get my own computer. So I did. I edit all of my videos for YouTube on Adobe Premiere. I also would recommend actually CapCut. They have a free desktop app that you can download to edit your videos, and I use it a lot for my Instagram Reels and TikToks and stuff that I don't edit in the TikTok app. So if you don't want to spend money on Adobe Premiere on a subscription because they are expensive as hell, I highly recommend downloading the free CapCut app. You could also use iMovie. I used to use that way back in the day. But I really do like how Adobe Premiere and the CapCut app let you go frame by frame and get really specific. I think that the iMovie app does that as well, but I didn't like how it would snap everything. I don't know. Use what works best for you. Use what's easiest. Use what's cheapest. I would say if you can use it as a tax write-off or get a student account on Adobe, I would go for Adobe Premiere. If you're just doing this for fun and you don't want to spend as much money, go CapCut. That's my recommendation. And the last thing I want to talk about in the editing process is the audio situation. So this is very interesting. I got these Apple AirPod Maxes for Christmas and I was so freaking excited to finally have noise canceling over the ear headphones to edit with. Y'all, I don't know what it is with these, but the audio is not good when you use them to edit. It's great using them to listen to a podcast, listen to music, anything like that, but if you're on Adobe Premiere or CapCut, for some reason the audio just doesn't translate. It comes through the headphones a lot quieter than it actually was. And I actually found this out the hard way because if you don't already know, I started a podcast and YouTube show called Hi Girlies with my best friend Jenny. I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. Basically, we just get high and talk about pop culture. Anyways, I was editing one of our episodes and it was the first time that I was using my AirPod Maxes to edit on my computer, and for some reason the audio just seemed super quiet and I could not figure it out, so I ended up making the audio super loud so that I could actually hear it here. And I remember Will looking over at my screen while I was editing and being like, your audio is peaking. And I was like, really? Like, it's really low, I don't hear anything. Girl, I exported the video and I uploaded it to this shared platform that Jenny and I use to give notes on episodes together called Frame, and the audio was blasting. I had to delete it quite quickly because I didn't want her to listen with headphones and like blow out her freaking eardrums. It was crazy. So I don't know what's going on with this. I have retired the AirPod Maxes less than a month after I got them for the editing stuff. I literally just use my Apple little headphones with the cord. I'm just saying, if you have these and you want to use them to edit your videos, maybe just look into it. Make sure your audio's okay. But that is the whole process. That is how I put together a YouTube video from start to finish, every single thing that I use. It's all broken down. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I will also have every single thing that I talked about in this video linked in the description. Obviously, no pressure to use anything that I've mentioned in this video. You don't have to use anything that I use. I'm just trying to help you, okay? If you like the way that my videos look, if you like the audio in my videos, now you know what the setup is and you know how I'm kind of trying to improve, basically. So that's all down there if you need it. Drop your questions and your channel in the comments so I can check out your content, and I'll see you in my video next weekend. Bye, friend.